Back again with another episode of The It Factor. As always, I'm your host, Jeremy Robinson, and today we have somebody special. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Sosi. I'm from Dallas, and I'm excited to talk with you guys today.
That's amazing. So first off, how are you doing? How has your week been so far? I thought tomorrow was Friday, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Is it Friday? Oh my gosh. It's Wednesday.
Yeah. Tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tomorrow. Okay, gotcha. My week is going well. Honestly, it's been busy. I'm moving from Arkansas back to Dallas, so just a lot of moving pieces there. But I'm excited to be here with you, Jeremy.
Thank you so much. So, jump into the career thing. Just tell me a little bit about that. So, what are your day-to-day job, being a pharmaceutical sales rep, and also how did that tie into, I had met you from seeing you on IG, seeing your posts and things of that nature. How do you do all those things? This is just a lot.
That's literally everyone's question is how do you manage? How do you do it all? Honestly, just a lot of busy nights, sleepless nights. But when you're really just excited about what you do, I think it just kind of keeps you going. So my pharmaceutical sales job, I started in the pharma industry about 2 years ago. And the reason I took that job is because I was teaching at the time and I just needed something that was life-changing. And that's exactly what pharmaceutical industry did for me. It's literally, I was living in Dallas. I got a job offer and it was in Fort Smith, Arkansas. I'm have no idea where Fort Smith, Arkansas is, but I'm packing my bags and leaving because I literally had nothing that was holding me down in Dallas. I was living with my parents at the time, 3-bedroom, sharing, one room with, two of my sisters, several dogs. We have 3 dogs, I was driving a Honda Civic and, just living a very humble life, I would say.
Yeah.
So, this job definitely gave me the opportunity to have a place of my own, to drive a brand new car. My salary went up, so it was not definitely something I could, turn down. So despite the fact that I was moving to a small town where I didn't know anyone, it also came with all these big opportunities. And I was young and eager to just change my life around. So that's how I ended up in the pharmaceutical industry.
That's amazing. Just to step out like that on faith and say, hey, I'm gonna go down here. Because granted, I can understand how it would be to go from college to going back to your parents and you're I gotta go. I got to go, so I can that's a good thing for you to line like that. So how did that lead into now, you pursuing your MBA? What went behind that?
So just with me being an immigrant, a Black woman, competition is high. So I'm always looking for ways to set myself apart. So the MBA kind of came along because, down the line, if I need an MBA for any position that I might apply for, I wanted to have it under my belt. But aside from that, Jeremy, I'm really interested in business. I'm getting ready to launch my first clothing brand. It will be called Kameleon with a K. So the business school just really got me prepared for just the business world, starting a new business. So I'm actually applying a lot of the materials that I'm learning in school to my clothing brand and whatever, other businesses I might start in the future. So that's the main reason I took the MBA route. But it also makes you more competitive in the workforce. So it's always good to have.
You're definitely going to be competitive. And also with you starting your brand, I think that's an amazing thing to be getting your MBA because they're going to set you up the right way of hey, these are how these businesses run their business. Nike. And you're okay, let me do a case study on Nike. And that case study may broaden your horizon to saying, you know what, I can do this same thing that Nike does. Of course, I'm going to have to do it a little different. But I can take this case study and learn from it. So I commend you on that one because I know your brand is going to do good. So what made you think about a brand? Was it going to get your MBA or are you always wanting to, start your own clothing brand?
Well, I'm in the modeling industry as well. So whenever, I'm modeling for all these different brands and, different companies, I just thought to myself, like, I literally know what they do. Like, they hire me, they do all these campaign shoots, they promote their materials and they make money. I'm like, if I can do this for them, I need to get to a place where I'm actually modeling my own clothes, my own materials, and I'm selling my own stuff. And I've always known that I can't model forever. You can, but not really. At some point, it starts to go down. Like, you're not going to always be this young, pretty face, because there will always be another young, pretty face. So I wanted to make sure, like, I was building something for myself that can be like, that can, sustain me long term, really. So that's kind of how I got into, like, okay, clothing brand. And that wasn't actually like my first option for startup. I thought about skincare, but I'm like, that's too much liability. Like, people can sue you for like a little scar, or, I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready for that. But clothes, the worst they can do is return it. And we just go our separate ways. And it was low risk and something that I was already in. I'm already in the fashion industry with modeling. So that's why I picked that.
I definitely can say that with that low risk thing, because with me having the It Factor podcast, I have merchandise, and I'm thankful I was able to sell my merchandise, things of that nature. But I love low risk stuff because of the fact, me being in the engineering field, I'm always like, hey, business hand you something, you're like, okay, what can we do this at the lowest cost? So I think about it the same with the clothing. I can go out and sell this brand, and get it for a certain price and sell it for this. But the biggest thing they can do is send it back, versus like facial care, anything like that, body, anything happens, you gonna sue me. I'm like,
we're gonna be in the court.
Like, nobody has time for that.
Like, we want to make sure we can sleep well at night. We do not want to be in the court going back and forth. No thanks, right?
I just want people to be like, yeah, man, it was too big, or the shirt was too big, or this. I'm like, okay, we'll get you another shirt. Or you want us to turn it all the way? We good.
Yep. That's right.
Tell me about modeling, man. How you got to, that's your thing you want to do, and you're so well at it. So how did you get into that?
So modeling, in 2016, I literally just got thrown in front of the camera, and somehow those pictures turned out good. And they said, wow, you could do this. I'm like, I can, okay. Like, one photo shoot turned into two, and then I just kind of kept up with it. Mm-hmm. And, I love it. Like, today, I love it. I'm passionate about it. My favorite thing about modeling is just being able to create stories. It's about teamwork. A lot of people see the final picture and it's me that they see, on a lot of these campaign shoots. But I know for a fact that it's a lot of talented people that bring their different skills to create that magic. So my favorite part is honestly getting to know these individuals that I work with, from the makeup artist, hair photographer, stylist. It's just a big group of people that come together to create that story and that magic in those pictures.
I respect that. And also in that, you build a network, so when your brand come out, you're like, hey, that's a photographer I know. Hey, you remember when we modeled with so-and-so?
Exactly. So that's one of the things I decided. That was one of the reasons for deciding with the clothing brand too, is because, like, I know enough people. If I need models, I've already have enough model friends that can come model my items. I know photographers. So yeah, definitely. You definitely want to build your network. And once you build it, you got to find a way to use it. Yeah. Otherwise, it's kind of pointless.
You're right about that. I'm actually working on a book called The Art of Networking. And
nice, okay.
I have met with so many people since I started my podcast, but even being in college and like playing a sport like football, things like that, like you meet so many people that you're just like, hey, I need to write these people down. At a point, you're like, I need to write these people down, stay in contact with them in some type of way, because everyone has something to offer to you. You need to be positive, hopefully, if it's a positive.
Yeah. And you just never know when a person might be useful to you, but just keep them around. You just never know. and it might not be for you, but maybe you have a friend that's looking for some, you know, some information or something, and you can connect to other individuals together as well. So I'm definitely big on network.
Got you. So in that, since you're big on network, man, what is your it factor? Why you do what you do?
My it factor. So I think I'm just really good at doing things well. No matter what I do, I put 110%, and that has to be my it factor, because whether it's modeling, planning a birthday party, or I'm at work trying to sell a drug, whatever it is, like I give 110%. And if I have had my hand in it, you will be able to tell, because I pay attention to details and I put my all in everything that I do. And if I'm not going to put my all in it, I just don't do it. So
I definitely respect that. I can notice that from early, because you're like, hey, Jerry, I got to get myself together. Can we or can we reschedule it, you know? So
yeah, I'm like, hey, if I don't have enough time to like get ready and, you know, settle down, I might not be able to do this podcast today. That's
so,
right.
What do you think your legacy that you want left behind? You know, like what's something you want someone to remember you for?
I think the biggest thing for me is motivating other young women to just go after their dreams. And you don't have to be like one thing. Like you can be multiple things. You can have a corporate job. You can still model, and you can still be a mother. You can be a sister, a friend. And it's like, just one of the biggest thing is like, don't wait for somebody to rescue you. Like everything you need is inside of you. So just like want to really motivate others to just go after what they're looking for, without looking for like somebody to help them out. Like just do it. You're enough. Like go after what you want, and you'll get there. So that
you got to be a motivational speaker over there, you know. So.
I wouldn't mind that. I would definitely love that.
Well, what is, you know, what is one of your ultimate life goals? I love this question. There's multiple of them, because I know I have multiple. It's like, what is one of them?
My ultimate life goal is to make sure my parents' sacrifice counts for something. So I'm an immigrant. I came from Ethiopia and I moved to the US when I was about 10 in 2003. And in order for us to make that move, there was a lot of sacrifice that my parents had to take. One of them being, you know, my father, he used to be like working for the government, high paying job. And he came to the US, he had 4 kids, and he had to raise us, and he had to start working at Kohl's. Now, we're talking about a man that had so much power. He had drivers, secretary, and like, just, he was in such a high place in his career. He has his master's, you know. So for them to have left Ethiopia, and then, you know, we came to the US, and I had to watch my dad fold clothes at Kohl's, you know, and then from there he went to work as like patient care or patient transporter at Baylor. So when I look at that, I just feel like the only reason my parents moved to the US was so that me and my siblings can just have like a better opportunity at education, you know, a career, freedom to be and become anything that we want to be. So it would be such a shame for me to waste that opportunity, right? An opportunity that a lot of people in Africa want, or all over the world, really. Like everybody wants to come to the US and, you know, take part in the opportunities that are presented. So that's just my ultimate goal. And that's kind of what drives me. It's like, dude, my parents have already sacrificed so much for me to have the opportunities that I have today, and I cannot waste them. So I'm gonna do it all, you know.
You're on the path for that. Like I definitely seen you, even from seeing your IG or like researching stuff about you creating these questions. You know, the thing I love about our people is we adapt. You know, we pivot a lot, but like we all in this game to, you know, create something different, like a destiny thing. Especially coming to America, I definitely can understand that. what you saying. That that's definitely I have a lot of friends that have done the same, and in that changing, you doing the right things. So I know that they're proud of you. I know your parents are proud of you, and I know they're gonna be more proud of you, especially when this clothing line hit. Just come
Thanks
to
so
the show.
much,
Don't forget
Jeremy.
about me. When that does.
Hey, you make sure you don't forget about me.
Oh
We're
no.
gonna make it together.
Oh, so in that, before we close out, do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, I would just love to. I mean, your listeners probably already know, but I would love to know what motivated you to start the It Factor podcast, and why not something else? Like, why was this one the one that worked best for you?
Got you. So basically, when I was at school, in college, I went to go be a computer science and computer engineer. And I'm from rural Georgia, from South Georgia, and I now live in Atlanta, Georgia. And before all that, though, you don't never meet a black computer science or computer engineer or anything. I never met one. I met
Yeah.
doctors, lawyers, all type of stuff like that. Never met.
Nope.
Right. So in doing that, I was like, if you get me through this, like I said, I prayed for him. I was like, God, if you get me through these classes, because I was struggling. I was like, you get me through these classes, I'm gonna create a channel that like somebody can come and watch this and get inspiration and say, oh, Jim's
Yes.
doing that. And it's the first person that I give you my email, like I give you my number. My fiance have to get on to me like, hey, you got to watch that. Look, just give your email or something. But I definitely say that so you can stay in touch with me, or I can mentor you or help you out, and to bring on people like yourself. Someone may want to be a model, but they may not know that you also a pharmaceutical rep, and you have all these different things that go on. I never seen a channel like this, and the people think you have to be big time to create something like this. Like you don't. You got to build from somewhere. So I definitely, I think that's why I started it. And that is.
I love it.
Thank you.
I love that you're doing something positive, and that's one of the reasons I just wanted to be a part of this podcast, just because you're doing something positive, and there's a lot of things you can talk about on a podcast, and you're choosing to talk about something that can benefit someone else. So I applaud you for that.
Thank you for that. So with that, that's it. That's the podcast.